So this is the fatty side, similar to pork butt. And then the other side. And actually, I'm gonna start with this. So this is all fat right here, and that has to come off. So I use a boning knife and just go. It's a really hard piece of fat, so it comes off really easy. And this is the flat, leaner. This is the point, which is fattier. So what we like to do, that fat here will come up in between. So just follow that. Just like when you're separating the hindquarter. You can almost start pulling it apart. But what we're trying to do is just get rid of some of that fat prior to cooking. And you can see how. Now this is a smaller brisket, so there won't be as much fat compared to some of the 15-pounders or something. But you don't want to go, if you went all the way down, you would completely separate those two muscles. This one would come right through here. So just kind of feel it, and when it starts getting thin. And then here's another hard chunk of fat here, so you can just come in and take that out. For the most part, the fat on here, on the point, you can take a lot of this off. And then come down and just lift up the flat, take some of that off. On this one, that's about all I'm going to do for this part. And that comes back down. You want to take some of this stuff off. Kind of like silver skin. All of it's not. That was a little deep. Don't have to take it all off. But since this is the meat side, the rub won't really stick well to that, so that's why you try to take it off. Otherwise, you wouldn't really have to, but just to get the rub. Okay, that looks okay. Okay, then we flip it back over to the fat side. And this would be similar, your 15-pound briskets, anything large. It's gonna have a lot of fat on here. But you can see it's probably 1/4 inch thick, not everywhere. Now this is really thin. If you were buying one that you could pick out, you want to try to avoid a flat that goes that thin because it's just going to dry up. But we didn't have a choice on this. So kind of, you don't need this much. I guess it wasn't as thick as I thought. But don't take it all off like you do with pork. Or brisket doesn't have as much internal fat, so you want the meat to rely on some of this. I'm going to go in here and just trim a little bit more out of there. But you can see where if you kept cutting, it would separate right through here, and that would be your point. And you can see the marbling. That's a lot fattier than. You can see there's your grain direction. So after cooking, that would be your slices going right across here on the flat. That grain direction changes on the point. That's why we separate them, but I'll show you that. But you can see the grain direction on the point is this way. It's usually always the case. Where these come to a diamond, that will be your grain. I'd probably call this pretty good. Take that stamp. Okay.